everybody. Hi, this is Jamie from Horizons Light Coaching. I totally just dropped my phone underneath the couch and couldn't find it, and so yeah, it's always just an interesting start. But I am here today because guess what? It is March. It is almost spring. And yeah, so it's exciting. So last month we talked about relationships, and now we have a new month, so a new topic: technical difficulties. You guys should really see the contraption that I make to keep my phone standing up. It's so low tech, but it's the best I can manage right now. So we're going to talk about habits. Habits are everywhere. They are something that we do every single day, whether we realize it or not. So we have good habits, we have bad habits, we have completely neutral habits. We have habits that we're not even aware that we do. It's so natural, so ingrained within us. You walk into a room, it's a habit just to flip on the light switch. It's just a very normal manner of acting that it's just completely unconscious. We just do it almost involuntarily. And then we have other habits that we're very conscious of and aware of. And so we're going to talk about, next week we're going to talk about breaking bad habits, and then we'll talk about making good new ones, and then different things throughout the month. So make sure that you tune in every Wednesday around 7:30, give or take a couple minutes depending on, dog and phone situations. Yeah, so habits can be used interchangeably with several different words, things like routines or patterns or rituals. A habit is, if you saw my post from Monday, a habit is a consistent mode of action that we have created a behavior pattern out of. So habits are something that it's a behavior pattern, it's something that happens continuously, and is very normal and becomes natural for us. And there is a lot of research out there done on habits and habit making, habit forming, habit breaking, and they do. And you'll see if you do if you've done any research on habits, there is everything from this idea that it takes 21 days to form a new habit. There is also back and forth information on that. Some of them say it's true, some of it's not. Really, it's just that discipline that's connected to it. There's hypnosis that you can use to break bad habits. There's EFT and tapping methods to work through habits. So there's a lot out there, a lot of research around habits and habit forming, and that's something that it's part of our life. And I wish, in our schools, we dealt a little bit more with self-development and self-improvement around building habits and different things like that, because that is something that you want to learn how to do. A couple of really great people you might hear about that talk about habits is James Clear. He wrote the book Atomic Habits, which is a fabulous text if you ever get a chance to read it. And he really digs into the science behind habits, habit formation, habit breaking, all of that. Mel Robbins is the one. She doesn't talk necessarily as much about habits, but about a couple tricks that you can use to trick your brain into getting yourself to do these habits. And we're going to talk about that this month as well. So habits, routines, rituals. A question came up when we talked about goals. I think that was 2 months ago. We were talking about goals. And so the question was, well, what's the difference between a goal and a habit? Well, a goal is something you work towards to achieve. So it's some bigger idea, I want to use the word goal. It's this bigger thing that you want to do, that you want to achieve. A habit, on the contrary, is something you want to build into your regular schedule, something you want to do on a consistent basis, whether it's a daily habit, a weekly habit, a monthly habit. There's a lot of different ways you can look at that. So you might have a goal, a fitness goal of, I want to up my bench press weight by 10%, right? I want to go and I want to be able to bench 150, and I'm right now at 130, and so you're going to work towards that goal. Or you can think about it as a habit, in which case the habit is what you do each time you go, and building the habit of, I go to the gym 3 times a week. I have a rest day. I have the habit of taking my rest days in between, but doing active rest like yoga or stretching. So those are habits, as opposed to the goal, which is that bigger achievement that you want to achieve and that you want to get to. And then once you get it, then you go into the next level of, okay, so now I've hit my goal of benching 150. Now I want to bench 160. Right? And you keep building your goals from there. But the habit is the routine, the ritual, the pattern that you keep. Now you can make a goal to create a habit, which is also great. But there's slight differences, but in essence, it's kind of a little bit of tomato. But there is a difference between goals and habits and things you do. The thing about habits is that we live in a society and a culture that is very good at shaming. We, as a society, we kind of think about, we shame ourselves for the bad habits we have, and we shame ourselves for the good habits that we're not doing, right? Or falling off the wagon of those habits. And the reality is that that's not going to help you. That is not going to help you break bad habits, and is not going to help you make better habits. So this manner of shaming is completely bypassing the idea of why we fall into these habits. So habits can be physical actions, they can be mind thought patterns, habits of mind, and how you think about things, how you respond to things. It can be habit of speech, something from is just regular as saying wicked all the time, or the habit of constantly denigrating and being derogatory towards yourself because you don't want to come off in a way that you're afraid somebody will judge you for. So we live in this society that shames ourselves, and we're taught to shame ourselves over the habits we do have and the habits we don't have. But instead, so what I want you guys, I'm giving you guys homework. I'm a teacher, so I'm allowed to give you homework. All right, so your homework this week to start, I want you just to notice the habits that you have going on in your life. What are the things that you didn't even realize you're doing, or that you wish you weren't doing? Just notice those habits, and start thinking about why. Because the bottom line is, if you're shaming yourself, you're not going to respond in any different way. You're just going to bring yourself down and drag yourself down to a deeper level. As opposed to, if you understand why do I have this habit, then you can actually deal with the heart of the matter. You can look at the trigger and the cue that is leading you to do these habits. So, for instance, as an example, my sister and I have this really bad habit. Well, we always said, see, shaming, so we have this habit where both of us, we come home from work, and we just, once we finally get home, we sit down and we will just sit, and she was, for a while, she was a Candy Crush girl, and I would play some stupid cooking diary or Sudoku or any of those little things or word games. So we would just play these random stupid apps on our phone or on the computer for a good half hour or something, or an hour, and just totally vegging out and not doing anything, even though we knew I have a pile this big of papers to grade, right? Teacher life. But the thing is, and a therapist once clued me into this, is that habit of coming home and immediately got on the phone, and you might have kids, you might do this, you might have kids who do this, getting on the phone and doing something so brainless and mindless, we looked at it as this thing that was shameful, that was lazy, and why am I not doing the thing that I need to do? But when we stepped back and took a look at it, it was like, dude, my brain's been going all day long. And any of you who are students now, you know your brain is going. If you're coming home from work, your brain was constantly going and constantly on call, and it's tired. And so that habit was really our brain resetting and saying, hey, I gotta just chill for a little bit and do nothing and not think, and you need to give me this time. And so it manifested itself into this habit of playing mindless, stupid little games on the phone. Attaching shame to that wasn't healthy at all, because that was a necessary function that our brain needed in order to then say in another hour, okay, now you can go and do your grading or whatever work you had to do at night, or your homework or whatnot. Shaming ourselves for that just because it's different, my sister and I, my mom was a farmer's daughter, and so, it's always work before play. But today's society works very different, and now we understand that sometimes you gotta just take a break. And we're gonna talk about building that habit in order to understand, why is your brain having you do this, and what are you doing with it? And what is the reason behind that habit? Because until you understand what your habit is doing for you, because every habit you have is giving you something, it's doing something for you. And until you understand that and can either replace it with a healthier substitute or fulfill that need in a different way, or deal with that need, then you're going to be stuck in that bad habit. Okay? Or you want to create a need that will bring in a new habit. So this week, as I said, your homework is to your homework is to just notice, what are the habits that you have in your life that you are doing? What are the habits you're not happy with, that you wish you would do differently? What are some of the habits that you wish you had that you're not currently doing? And just notice. Don't judge, don't shame, don't second guess yourself, don't start trying to shift and change yet. Right now, just focus on noticing and trying to ask yourself, what am I getting out of this habit? What is it giving to me? And then we'll go from there and talk about breaking those bad habits, those negative, unhealthy habits next week. And remember too, habits aren't just things we do. Habits are also your brain patterns, your way of responding to situations. Do you have a habit of complaining all the time? Or do you have a habit where you're always bringing yourself down when somebody compliments you? That's a very common one. Somebody compliments you, say, oh no, it's just blah, 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 right? Whatever thing you want to do to negate their compliment. So just start noticing those, write it down, make a list, think about what it is that habit is offering you, and that is your homework for the week. All right, so I will check in next week, and I hope you will join me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and share with your friends and family. And if you need some guidance and one-on-one help, I'm here for Horizons Light Coaching, and you can check out my page at bit.ly/Horizons Light Coaching. All right, bye guys.